Hey NFL fans, Tom Downey here. If you did not already know, we've got a bunch of different channels here at Chat Sports, including our Cowboys only channel at youtube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report. Coming up next is the latest Cowboys video, which originally aired over there. And if you're not a Cowboys fan, shout out your favorite team in the comments, and maybe, just maybe, that team will be the next channel here at Chat Sports. First up from Hunter Midwig, I don't know how to pronounce MWTT-ing. Fulton or Delpit? Ooh, good question. I like them both a lot. I'm probably going to go Kristian Fulton because I worry more about having good cornerback play than I do good safeties. For this particular question, check back in with me later on in the offseason. Let me see what Dallas has done at the cornerback and safety spots. You'll probably have a better feel for which route makes more sense. Both of these guys, I think, are going to end up being top 20 picks in the NFL draft. Troy Daniels at number 17. Let me get a great defensive player that can dazzle us in year one. I guess define great year one play. I would not assume you're going to get another Leighton Vander Esch. I would also not assume you're going to get another Taco Charlton. I think you'll find something more in the middle and probably a little bit closer to the Leighton Vander Esch side of things. There will be front four players and there will be back end players who can make an instant impact for you for the Dallas Cowboys. Robert Garcia, how realistic is it to get Grant Delpit? I actually think it's more realistic than you might think. We've talked about Grant Delpit for a while here. We know he's a good player. And we also know that safeties tend to slide. He's probably not going to go top 10. Maybe the Browns are the opening of his range. Jets aren't going safety if they have Jamal Adams. The Raiders could. I don't think the Colts would. The Bucks, maybe. Denver is a possibility. All of a sudden, you're now at pick number 17. I think Grant Delpit is right in the middle of the Cowboys draft possibilities there. His range falls right in between 17. All right, Day Gain says Chase from LSU. I assume you mean Jamar Chase, in which case I can 100% guarantee that Jamar Chase will not be drafted this year. He is not draft eligible. He is only a sophomore, which is crazy. He's not going to be able to come out. Now, 2021 draft, probably going to be a top 10 pick and very possibly wide receiver 1 off the board in that draft class. So I love Jamar Chase, but not going to happen. Gary Sane, what do you think about the kicker from Georgia if he is available in the late rounds? I assume you mean Rodrigo Blankenship. Look, I am down to bring in a kicker. I have cemented my stance on kickers and punters. You don't need to draft them because you should never invest long-term in a kicker or punter. The consistency is not there. It fluctuates from year to year. Unless you've got Justin Tucker, don't pay for one. Now, you can pay a little bit, but do not lock yourself in to a mass deal with a kicker. We did it with Dan Bailey. Dan Bailey was worse than Brett Maher for a year. Keep that in mind. So, yes, I am down to bring him in. You can spend one in round 7 because those picks are freebies, basically. But do not invest at all in a kicker because there's a good chance you end up with the Bucs kicker Roberto Aguirre, and we all know how that turned out. Marco Contreras, what position do you think we lack the most? Good one. Assuming you bring back guys like Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, in terms of just pure volume right now, it might actually end up being defensive tackle and defensive line, but your defensive line, both edge and tackle, need help, and cornerback also needs help if you're the Dallas Cowboys. David Parkus, will it be an offense or defensive draft? I think it's going to be a defensive draft. You don't really need any offensive linemen. You're not going to go running back early. You might go receiver or tight end early, maybe one, maybe two. I don't think it's going to be both in the first 2 rounds. But defense, you're probably going to be looking for defensive line help, edge help, cornerback help. That's the key for the Cowboys. Now, overall in the draft, it often ends up being a 50-50 split. Quarterbacks will go early. I think you'll see a late run on some defensive players as well in the 2020 NFL Draft. All right, question for you guys, and I'm curious to see what your answers are. Which team do you hate the most in the NFL? Is it the Eagles, the Packers? What team is it? We'll give some shout-outs here as well. Let me know in the comments section. I am curious to see where you guys answer. I see Eagles coming in. Okay, I see a lot of Eagles coming in and some Patriots. Maybe not a huge surprise on that front, but keep those votes coming as to which NFL team you hate the most. Matt S., what day 2 receivers would make sense? I'll rattle off some general day 2 guys here. I don't know if the TCU kid goes in round 1. KJ Hamler is probably a top 50 pick. Maybe gets in he's 30 to 50 range. Brandon Ayuk at Arizona State, probably a day 2 guy. Justin Jefferson, I think ends up being a day 2 pick. Weird to say it out loud, but Donovan Peoples-Jones probably goes on in round 2 or round 3. I don't know where Tyler Johnson will go. He might fall to round 4 or 5, but I think he makes sense. Michael Pittman, if you want a bigger body guy. Denzel Mims from Baylor. I'm going to keep going here. Colin Johnson, Brian Edwards. I'll stop there. You get my point. It's a really good receiver class. If you need one, you will be able to find one. I promise you that. All right, Kelly McMurrian. Is receiver a round 1 need if Amari does not re-sign? Depends on what else the Cowboys do in free agency. Like if they sign an A.J. Green, no, receiver's not a round 1 need. But if you enter the draft with Michael Gallup and Randall Cobb as your top 2 guys, receiver probably does become a round 1 need. Barrett B49, do you see the Cowboys drafting Gross-Matos? Well, for starters, kind of got to figure out what the hell's going on with that lawsuit against Penn State and Gross-Matos. If you haven't heard about that, look it up. It's very bad and weird and all kinds of strange. I think he could make some sense if you don't bring back Robert Quinn and don't bring back anybody else, or don't add anybody at the edge position. I think it'll be a possibility. I think 17 is kind of the upper echelon of his range. Clay Kerr, any chance of trading out for more picks? I'm always on board. Or at least trading down in round 1. I think 17 is going to be right on that edge of, okay, are we going to be able to get one of the top guys that we want? For me, my board for realistic 17th targets looks like you're not going to get Isaiah Simmons. Sorry, guys. Henry Ruggs could be on that list. Kristian Fulton, Javon Kinlaw, Grant Delpit, maybe a Xavier McKinney or a Trayvon Diggs or a Khalil Chason or a Gross-Matos. If you miss on all of those guys and you hit that wall of only going to be about 15, 16 true first-round picks, quarterbacks will get pushed up. If you miss on those top-tier guys, then I would trade down. I don't know if the Cowboys are going to have to make the decision, though, going forward. Now, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Cowboys120 for a 120% deposit bonus. That's chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Cowboys120 for a 120% deposit bonus, folks. It is the single best betting deal out there. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Cowboys120. DNA. What about Ashton Davis in the second round? I am very curious to see where Ashton Davis, the Cow safety, ends up going. I think his range is kind of in that higher echelon. It's probably going to be like pick 25 into that, maybe it's 55 range. Somewhere in there. And he's got a good chance to be safety number 3 off the board. He can play for safety. That's his best fit. Teams value that. I would venture to say he might be on the board for the Cowboys mid-second round pick. If he is there, he's not going to last much longer after that. Gabriel Paulin, is Henry Ruggs the real deal from Alabama? And should Dallas draft him in the first round, assuming Randall Cobb doesn't get re-signed? For Henry Ruggs, I think in a bubble, he's probably worth the 17th overall pick. I think in reality, he probably isn't going to last. I think Denver at 15 makes a lot of sense for him. If he does last, he's probably not going to get past the Raiders at number 19. So that 15-19 range, he's probably gone around then. If you don't bring back Cobb, I would rather just draft somebody later. If you want to score all of the points, sure, I get that. But in this theory, you would have Cooper and you would have Gallup. I would draft a defensive player get a receiver later in a loaded class. That's just kind of my mindset. All right, Kevin Balderas, is there a reasonable player the Cowboys would be willing to trade up for if he fell? I don't know if they're reasonable, but I think Derek Brown, Isaiah Simmons, and Jeffrey Okudah would be your reasonable trade-up targets. The problem is, I think they're off the board in the top 10 picks. Top 12 at minimum, and if they get to 10, maybe you start making calls, but you have so many needs, I'd probably be more likely to trade down than would be to trade up this year. Clay Kerr, anyone you see dropping out of the first round being available in the second? There will be players, I promise you that. I could see someone like C.J. Henderson falling out of round one, or one of those corners. Maybe it's Jeff Gladney or the Utah kid. There will be an edge who slides down. Maybe it's a Curtis Weaver, a Julian Okwara, Terrell Lewis, Neville Gallimore, the Oklahoma player, and it's not a Cowboys need, but they will fall. Running backs are going to fall out of round one. Somebody's going to get a very Nick Chubb caliber player. J.K. Dobbins, maybe. DeAndre Swift, Travis Etienne, somebody will be there in round two. It'll be an instant impact player on offense. Got a deal for you guys here on the show. It's a T-shirt sale, 50% off. All you got to do, chatsports.com/Cowboys shirts. That's chatsports.com/Cowboys shirts. Up to 50% off. All kinds of shirts are on sale right now. They got different colors, different styles, different fonts. Check the description. Check the comments. I've got the links in there for you guys to click and go shop. From Blood X, great name. Who are the top 5 corners in the draft? We need 1, maybe 2. I reserve the right to change my list because I have not finished everything yet. Jeffrey Okudah is CB1 out of Ohio State. That will not change. Kristian Fulton, CB2 out of LSU. I don't think that changes either. I'm going to put Trevon Diggs as cornerback 3. A potentially hot take, I'm going to put Jeff Gladney as cornerback 4 out of TCU. Then I'll put C.J. Henderson, cornerback 5 out of Florida. Those 3, 4, 5 guys all kind of closely tied together. In round 2, if you don't go cornerback in round, or even if you do, a blue star special, guy who gets hurt and the Cowboys add afterwards, Bryce Hall out of Virginia. Zone scheme, but I personally like him quite a bit. All right, Joshua Fletcher. If the Cowboys go 3-4, what DTs should they get from the draft? There are a variety of options out there. Here's 5 of them. Kinlaw, Gallimore, Fotu, Elliott, Rashard Lawrence. I'll throw in other names like Raekwon Davis, Justin Matabuke at Texas A&M. You got Ross Blacklock out of TCU, who I've heard, I haven't watched in depth, but I've heard very good things about from those that I trust and who have watched him. Sleepers, Naquan Jones, if he goes pro to Michigan State. Carlos Davis is 6'2", 320. So you've got options there on the defensive line. It's a good class overall.